Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our service of Multifaith readings and reflection. Throughout this service, you will see services, prayers, and scriptures, which represent some of our multi-faith community. We encourage everyone to participate in all aspects of the service and to enjoy those aspects that you have found most supportive and helpful to you. We hope that everyone will learn something new today, and in that spirit, keep an open mind throughout. My name is Bavli. I'm one of the spiritual care chaplains here at the hospital, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in today for our service. The theme for today's service will be on community. So we're going to have an opening reflection, which is a poem by an anonymous author. No strength to go through the motions. She hasn't seen family or friends. Trying to find something within, nothing left to give. No reason to live, her mind is out of reasons. She is dead inside, and her memories fading away. She doesn't want to lose them, and tries to hold on to them. She racks her brain all day, trying to find a way to keep them fresh and vibrant. And next, we will have a reading from the Hindu tradition. Meet together, speak together. Let your minds be of one accord, as the gods of old, being of one mind, accepted their share of the sacrifice. May your counsel be common, your assembly common, common the mind and the thoughts of those united. A common purpose do I lay before you, and worship with your common oblation. Let your aims be common, let your hearts be of one accord, and all of you be of one mind, so you may live well together. Next, we will have a reading from the Jewish tradition, which comes from the book of Ecclesiastes. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. Again, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one be warm alone? Though one may be overpowered by another, two can withstand him. And the threefold cord is not quickly broken. Our next reading will come to us from the Muslim tradition, and this comes to us from the Quran. Lo, Allah enjoys justice and kindness and giving to kingsfolk, and forbids lewdness and abomination and wickedness. He exhorts you in order that you may take heed. Allah said, O my servants, I have forbidden wickedness for myself and have made it forbidden among you. So do not do injustice to one another. Our next reading comes to us from the Christian tradition, and this comes from the book of Corinthians. Just as one body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body, though many, are one body, so it is with Christ. For by one Spirit we are all baptized into one body. Jews or Greeks, slaves or free, and all were made to drink of one Spirit. For the body does not consist of one member, but of many. If the foot should say, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, that would not make it any less a part of the body. And if the ear should say, because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body, that would not make it any less a part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would be the hearing? If the whole body were an ear, where would be the sense of smell? But as it is, God arranged the organs in the body, each one of them as he chose. If all were a single organ, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, yet one body. Our next reading comes to us from the Buddhist tradition. One thing, when it comes to pass, does so to the loss, to the unhappiness of many folk, to the misery of the gods and humankind. What is that one thing? Schism in the order of monks. When the order is broken, there are mutual quarrels, mutual abuse, mutual exclusiveness, and mutual betrayals. Thereupon, those who are at variance are not reconciled, and between some of those who were at one, there arises some differences. So good morning again, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our service. As I mentioned before, our theme today is on community, so I'd like to share a small reflection with you today on community. So, for those of you who know me, and for those of you who want to get to know me, you'll know that a big part of my identity is community. Every Monday nights, every Thursday nights, I play basketball. I go to different religious services on the weekends in my own faith community. I hang out with family and friends all the time. I do a lot of different things throughout in my life, so community plays a big part in my own life. So a big part of my community is a basketball team. I've mentioned this before in previous weeks, and I'll keep reminding you because this is what I love to do. Basketball is a big thing. That's part of my life. We come together and we play together. Recently, my basketball community has experienced a divide. Some years ago, we lost two friends. One friend drowned in Lake Ontario, and another friend had a heart attack. It was devastating to our group and to me. I had a hard time coming to terms with both their deaths because they happened in such a short period of time. So the question becomes, and the one that I think of, is why are we drawn to groups? What makes us want to be with each other? Individuals and families function within the context of a community, which in turn functions within a larger society, nation, and world. The individual's and the family's well-being is bound up in the community's well-being, and likewise, its well-being is inseparable from the peace and the prosperity of the wider society, the nation, and ultimately, the world. A beautiful thing that I've learned about community is that it enables us to welcome and help people in a way that we couldn't do as single individuals. When we pool our strength, we share the work and the responsibility, we can welcome many people, even those in deep distress, and perhaps help them find self-confidence and inner healing. Here in the hospital, we operate as a community. The longer we live in the community, the more we are able to put our guards down, and this is when we start to get real with one another. Sometimes this is a good thing, a great thing, and sometimes not so much. You cannot build authentic communities without an atmosphere of trust and acceptance. However, this also may mean that the politeness that eased your transition to community may be somewhat lacking. You might find that your patience is beginning to run thin. Maybe your meal came a little late today. Laziness is setting in, and your words to one another are becoming a little less guarded. Community living can become more challenging, especially here in a hospital when we get comfortable with each other. Today's readings remind us that we can foster and develop methods that allow us to work together as a community. The Hindu reading reminds us that we must meet together, speak together, and let our minds be of one accord in order to help, accept, and share in our sacrifices, right? We have the doctors, we have nurses, we have social workers, physiotherapists, spiritual care chaplains, psychotherapy interns. Everyone who comes, we all have different roles, but we work together as one. The Jewish reading says that two are better than one, because when we fall, we have a companion to help us when we fall. The Muslim reading reminds us that God is pleased when we share and are kind to one another. The Christian reading alludes to many members, and those members functioning as one body. Being a community does not mean doing extraordinary things, but doing small things together. I'm reminded of John Vanier's reflection on community when he said the following: a community is only being created when its members accept that they are not going to achieve great things, that they are not going to be heroes, but simply live each day with new hope, like children, in wonderment as the sun rises, and in thanksgiving as it sets. Community is only being created when we have recognized that the greatness of humanity is to accept our insignificance, our human condition, and to thank God for having put a finite body, seeds of eternity, which are visible in small and daily gestures of love and forgiveness. The beauty of humanity is in this fidelity to the wonder of each day. So, when we realize that our greatness is to accept the insignificance, that is when we will be able to see our community clearly. Some of you might be wondering, where's my community? Or who's a part of my community? As a spiritual care chaplain, and I've been doing this for almost 8 years now, I've realized that part of my community is the individuals that I work with, the interns that work with me, and the individuals that I see day in and day out as being part of my own community here in the hospital. The nurse who visits at the bedside, or the physiotherapist who helps you with your daily routine, can also become part of your community. When you notice these small parts, that's when you will start to develop your own community. My community that I mentioned earlier has never been the same since the passing of my 2 friends, Sarmad and Peter. But we are able to come together and to grow through the pains that we experienced. My community realized that it is when we stand up with all our failings and sufferings and try to support each other rather than to withdraw into ourselves that we can fully live the life of community with one another again. Every human activity, no matter what it is, can lead to a life of community, and we will be able to exercise our gift to build communities if we realize that potential in us. And now we will have a concluding reflection. Trusting in you, we join one another as a community of gatherers on a journey to grow ever deeper in our trust, in our love, and in our desire to grow together. Along the way, let us remember the love that we have for each other, of our sacrifice for each other, and of our presence. Let us never lose hope along the way, to stay strong in our desire to ever be mindful of our presence. For it is in our strength and love and the graces we bestow upon each other that we can go out and share in the love and the bond with all those in our community. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you've appreciated and enjoyed the service. If you'd like to reach out to any spiritual care chaplain, if you need support, you can contact us through our contact number, which you can find on your spiritual care icon on your tablet. Otherwise, you can also talk to your nurse, and they know how to contact us. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day, and we will see you next week. Thank you.